Good morning, and welcome to Redeemer Lutheran Church. I'm Pastor Gary Lodeholt. We tend to forget about the other significant tree in the Garden of Eden. We are aware of the tree with the forbidden fruit, also known as the tree of the knowledge of good and evil that Adam and Eve ate from. What we often overlook is the other tree, the one that Adam and Eve were expelled from the garden over. If you don't remember, Genesis tells us, "Then the Lord God said, 'See, the man has become like one of us, knowing good and evil. And now he might reach out his hand and take also from the tree of life and eat and live forever.' Therefore the Lord God sent him forth from the Garden of Eden to till the ground from which he was taken." This tree of life has often been associated with the pomegranate. This week we've been looking at times that fruits we still eat and use today are mentioned in the Bible. First today, let me say that there are many that we aren't talking about. Some fruits and nuts that are mentioned in the Bible but not frequently are things like apples, almonds, melons, pistachio nuts, and raisins. But today we want to look at pomegranates. When I went to Israel in the year 2000, one of the sites we visited was the tomb of David, and I remember being surprised that his tomb was decorated with images of pomegranates. That's when our guide explained that pomegranates had become something of a symbol to represent the nation of Israel itself. There are perhaps several reasons for that. First, in the book of Exodus, God gives commands for how to design the robe that the high priest would wear. And God stipulates that the hem of the robe be adorned with images of pomegranates, and in between the pomegranates there would be sewn small golden bells. So the hem of the high priest's robe alternated bells and pomegranates all the way around. This was the symbol worn by the person who would come directly into the presence of God and represent the people. The second thing of significance about the pomegranate is the seeds. As one writer put it, pomegranates are a very unusual fruit in that we usually eat the flesh of the fruit and either don't notice the seeds or discard them if we can. But with pomegranates, there is no flesh, only seeds. In fact, if you make it past the tough, leathery skin of a pomegranate, inside it is full of red juices and pomegranate seeds. However, what is even more unique is that pomegranates generally have 613 seeds inside. That's exactly how many laws God gave to the people in the Old Testament, and which define who and what it means to be a Jew. Pomegranates were used to adorn Solomon's temple, and some of them made in brass must have been done beautifully because the ones that were able to be moved were carried off into Babylon. Others were carved into the tops of columns holding up the roof. One other intriguing thing I learned about pomegranates is that in Bible times they made wine out of the juice of pomegranates, and I don't think I've ever heard of anyone drinking pomegranate wine. Pomegranates are mentioned several times in 1st and 2nd Kings, Chronicles, Song of Solomon, in Deuteronomy, in Numbers, 1 Samuel, Jeremiah, and by the prophet Haggai, who used them as a symbol of hope and God restoring favor to the people. Again, most of us probably don't eat pomegranates regularly. Perhaps we should. And if anybody decides to make some pomegranate wine, let me know. I might like a sip. Thanks for watching, and remember to let this day belong to God.